SWEGTA!
For this video, I thought I'd talk a little bit about BullyMP, and specifically why it failed. So I was initially brought on as a community manager. My job was to help in promoting the project and also, on occasion, provide some designs for it. For instance, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And throughout my time being involved, I saw a lot of people come and go. It sort of had a bit of a revolving door of developers over a large amount of time. I remember for a while people thought BullyMP was fake because we just didn't put out any videos promoting it. We only provided screenshots, which, granted, could have been fabricated, but they weren't. It was the real deal, and people eagerly anticipated this mod. There was a lot of hype. I remember a buddy of mine, Aaron, was brought on to make some 3D models for the main menu. This little cool camera pan effect, which, I gotta be honest, I think they aped that totally from MTA. Nonetheless, cool idea, and I think Aaron did some cool work. So my responsibilities were not just in promoting the project using my platform here on YouTube. It also consisted of providing designs for Bully multiplayer, ranging from main menu layouts, even making the logo for the project. Now, I think a big problem that this project faced was that, and I want to be careful with how I phrase this because I don't want to turn people against this person, but I will say that one of the leads on this project was difficult for a lot of people to work with. I was not the only one who took notice of this. It was pretty common for me to have conversations with people outside of the project, especially after the fact, where people would say stuff like, oh, I really hated working with this guy. It wasn't really like a happy thing for people to be involved with as far as the team itself went. I think a lot of us were just gritting our teeth and dealing with it because we believed in BullyMP itself, which is not a good indicator at all for the prospect of any success. But like I said, a lot of us put up with it because we saw the potential in BullyMP, and we really believed in what we were doing. So why it failed is actually kind of difficult to answer. I'll be providing multiple reasons for why I believe BullyMP didn't pan out the way people had hoped. I think a big part of it had to do with a lack of stuff to do in Bully multiplayer. I remember even approaching the leads on this project and telling them, hey, you need to properly optimize this before you release it, and beyond that, there has to be something for people to actually do beyond free roaming. And it's not to say that they were totally dismissive of anything that I had to say. I think they took it into account, thought about it, and then decided that it'd be better if they just released it prematurely, because that way it would generate even more hype and possibly help them in recruiting more people to help develop it. Not at all what happened. Actually, what ended up happening because of this is that you had a community of people who saw BullyMP, checked it out, played a bit of it, noticed that there was really nothing to do, and then kind of gave up. I even brought some ideas to the table, stuff that I had tinkered with in the game's engine during development. Stuff like a platforming minigame that took inspiration from surf maps in, I think, Counter-Strike, or I don't know what the first game is that had surf maps, but you know what I'm talking about. It was essentially this platforming minigame where you and other people competed to reach the end of the map, and you would have to jump from one platform to the next, maybe, you know, do that little plank walk thing that Jimmy does at the end of the game. And I remember the head of this project really liking this idea and wanting to roll with it initially. The problem is they kept changing the structure of the actual mod and the coding language that it used. So over time, a lot of those things that I had made rough concepts of that were actually playable in a very early beta of this mod, they became totally incompatible with the mod itself. And as a consequence of that, a lot of that was put on the back burner, and when it came to even the most basic stuff like a racing minigame or team deathmatch, likewise.
Now we're gonna play a little game.
Alright.
Sounds stupid. Okay.
I guess. Whoever smashes up the most stuff wins.
Now let's get down to business. Take that, you grape-eating fat bastard! One more down! Score!
That was sort of funny.
Cool. That's all right.
Oh, man. Just awful.
Oh, yeah!
There was also something else that people really wanted that they were disappointed in not seeing being included, which is pedestrians, actual NPCs in the game roaming around as you wreak havoc across the map with your friends. This is something that a lot of people wanted, myself included, and it just was not possible, at least for the time being. I don't know if it would have been something that they ever implemented had this project continued, but upon its initial release, seeing a complete lack of NPCs in the game didn't sit well with a lot of people. I mentioned optimization, and I want to emphasize the importance of that when you're dealing with a project of this magnitude. This is around the time when a lot of people had switched over to Windows 8.1 and Windows 10, and this caused a lot of technical hiccups for people as far as running Bully on modern day computers go. Again, this is something that I stressed during development. I specifically told them several times, you need to make this accessible to people, and you need to provide them with at least something basic they can enjoy as soon as they jump in-game and start browsing the server menu. Creating your own server in Bully MP was an uphill battle for a lot of people, and it wasn't exactly something that people had easy access to. I know some people had their own servers on there, myself included. I was working on a roleplay server, and eventually I just gave up because constant crashes. Like, even if I made something really special and unique, it would still be inhibited by the fact that people can't simply join the server, immerse themselves, spend enough time there to actually get into the groove of role-playing without the game just dying on them. So like I said, the initial idea was, okay, we're gonna put this out there, we're gonna release this mod, people are gonna enjoy it, they're gonna be interested in it, and thus we'll have an easier time recruiting people with more knowledge in coding. A big obstacle in this regard is the fact that bully modding had not evolved to the point that it has today. Nowadays, you have people making all kinds of super advanced mods, like DeaconGG's Bully Fighting Remake mod, or even the Yakuza mod by SimonBestia. So even if they brought on the best people in the community as far as modders go, the experience that just about all of those people had was limited to making stuff like custom missions or in-game trainers. So not only did the recruitment process fail, but beyond that, when it came to having the community make their own scripts, yeah, they really didn't know how to do that. You know, back in my day, I'm showing my age here, I guess, but back around, 2012 to 2013-ish, before Lua modding was even a thing in the bully community. You wanna know how we switched fighting styles in the game? Hex editor. You wanna know how we switched character models? We just renamed them in world.img. And considering that Bully MP came out years after this, you might think, oh, well, enough time has passed that a lot of people have picked up on way more knowledge than that. But it is a very gradual process. And when it came to making your own server, it was not something that was exactly accessible to a lot of people. Even on the official Bully MP website, there's no server exe that you can run that allows you to host your own. So with regards to players joining different servers, they did not have a lot of options. I think it is a shame that nothing ever came of it, because a lot of us, like I said, we strongly believed in what we were doing with this, and we put up with a lot of crap from I guess a developer who shall remain nameless, because I feel like I've spilled enough beans in this video as it is. And just to be clear, like, the whole process was not awful. We did have some moments of levity, we did have a lot of fun moments, and I do remember a lot of that fondly, but the fact that a lot of people ended up leaving the project because they could not stand a certain individual, I think it killed a lot of momentum this project had. I actually felt like leaving a few times myself, but I'm not just gonna rag on this project ad infinitum. I will say that I had a lot of fun playing it, and I know quite a few of you also enjoyed playing it. Although the mod was pretty bare bone upon release, and it remains so to this day unfortunately, I did enjoy playing it, especially upon release. I mean, the hype, you could feel it in the air. I remember when I was playing with some friends from my old Discord server, I used to go by a pseudonym because constantly when we were playing, people would be like, oh, are you the real SWEGTA? And if I said yes, they'd be like, oh, liar. If I said no, they'd be like, oh, why are you impersonating SWEGTA, huh? The name that I went by was Limp Bagel. Worst name ever, but I stand by it. Before I end this video, I do want to mention a few things. First off, join my Discord, link down below. We're gonna have movie nights and all kinds of fun stuff. So be there, or be square. The second thing that I want to do is ask you, yes, you watching this video, I see you there, Mike, you bastard. I want to ask you, what fond memories do you have of playing Bully MP, and what do you think they could have done differently as far as saving the project from obsolescence goes? And third of all, I do want to mention that there will be a special announcement soon. I wish I could go into more detail than that, but I feel like I'd be ruining the surprise, and a promise is a promise. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but there's gonna be something big happening in the Bully community. No, not Bully 2, not a Bully remake, nothing official from Rockstar in any capacity. Nonetheless, it's gonna be a huge announcement. Stay tuned for that. Anyway, that's it for this video. You folks, as always, stay classy. Peace. I want to give a thank you to my channel members for supporting what I do here on YouTube. Ben Struble, Jake Johnson, Golden Stripes, The Synth Scream Collective, Yippee, and Kobam Iyoita. If any of you watching this would like to have your names read at the end of the video just like this, then please consider becoming a channel member. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Peace.